Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling every retail store owner's absolute worst nightmare, a break-in. But look, instead of focusing on the chaos, we're going to navigate the absolutely crucial first 72 hours right after an incident. We're turning all that panic into a concrete step-by-step checklist to protect your business and really your livelihood. Let's get right into it.
So, this insider knowledge comes directly from Jesse. He's an expert at affordable security shutters, and he has personally evaluated over 200 retail break-ins. I mean, this isn't just theory, right? It's battle-tested advice. He put this guide together to give owners the exact checklist he literally wishes every single one of them had the morning after an incident.
We're breaking this explainer down into a chronological action plan. 1. Before you do anything else. 2. The first 24 hours. 3. Navigating days 2 and 3. 4. Why insurance denies claims. And 5. Preventing a second hit.
Your recovery timeline maps out the critical windows of action over the next 72 hours. And what you'll quickly realize is that tackling problems in the exact right order is honestly just as important as the actions themselves. I mean, if you do step 4 before step 1, you could accidentally void your entire insurance claim, and nobody wants that.
Okay, section 1 before you do anything else. These are those immediate, super high-stress moments right after you discover the break-in.
And in those moments, your first instinct is almost always the wrong one. The absolutely crucial point here is this totally counterintuitive advice. Do not touch a broom. I know it's human nature to want to put your store back together immediately, but you've got to resist that urge. Why? Well, insurance adjusters actually pay out more on claims that have heavy photo documentation. The reality is, once a scene is cleaned up, you can never unclean it for the adjuster to see the true extent of the damage.
So instead of cleaning, you need to follow these 3 urgent steps. First, document everything heavily. We're talking wide shots, close-ups, the point of entry, inside the display cases, the whole shebang. Second, get that police report number in writing before the officer even leaves your store. Chasing it down later is a total bureaucratic nightmare. And third, check your camera footage today. Most DVRs loop and overwrite every 7 to 30 days. Pull and save everything from 48 hours prior onto a USB or the cloud before you do literally anything else on a screen.
Moving right along to section 2, the first 24 hours. This is where administrative speed can quite literally save your entire business. You absolutely need to call your insurance company today, not tomorrow. So many policies have this strict 24 to 48-hour reporting window just buried in the fine print. Next up, securely board up the opening immediately. This actually satisfies a duty to mitigate clause in your policy. If you leave it open and more damage happens, insurance can deny that second claim entirely. And lastly, save every single receipt for emergency mitigation. The board up, the locksmith, heck, even the coffee for the cleanup crew. No receipt simply means no reimbursement.
Now here's a vital administrative trick that most owners totally miss. When you're listing your losses, you must explicitly categorize missing items as stolen and broken items as damaged. These are entirely different claim categories handled by completely different parts of your insurance policy. If you lump a smashed display case in with stolen inventory, it will drastically slow down your payout. Just keep them separate. All right, section 3, navigating days 2 and 3. The initial shock is worn off and your tone has to shift from being a reactive victim to a proactive strategist.
Here is an incredible insider secret for you. You need to prep for the insurance adjuster exactly like you are prepping for a court case. Seriously. Adjusters settle claims way faster and for higher amounts when you hand them a pre-built folder. Fill it with printed photos, itemized losses with the original purchase prices, receipts, a written timeline. Do the work for them, and it absolutely pays off.
During this phase, you also have to manage the narrative. Get your employees on the same page so they know exactly what to say before a customer even asks. Something simple like, "We had a break-in, we're fine, we're open," is perfect. Also, if you lease, force a paper trail with your landlord via email. You need to establish who is responsible for the damaged exterior doors and glass versus your interior fixtures. Finally, walk the outside of your building in broad daylight. Look at it exactly the way the thieves did. Spot those blind spots and unlit windows.
When it comes to executing your contact strategy, you have to follow a strict chronological hierarchy. Look, do not call a glass repair professional or a cleanup crew until the police, your insurance company, and the emergency board-up teams have been completely handled. Keep this exact hierarchy in mind to protect your claim.
Okay, section 4, why insurance denies claims. You've paid your premiums for years, right? Well, here is how you ensure they actually pay out when you really need them.
According to our source, these are the top 5 reasons claims fail. First, missing that super tight reporting window. It's a classic trap. Second, lacking a police report number just halts everything in its tracks. Third, if you lack photos, adjusters might actually argue the damage was pre-existing. No way, right? But it happens. Fourth, leaving the door unsecured violates your duty to mitigate. And finally, number 5, having no receipts or proof of ownership for high-ticket items will leave you totally empty-handed.
Which brings us to Section 5, preventing a second hit. Now we've got to address the most uncomfortable truth of this entire explainer, the extremely high risk of a secondary attack on your store.
30. That is the absolutely terrifying number of days within which a targeted store is almost always hit a second time. Out of the 160-plus store owners Jesse has worked with, the ones who suffered a second break-in usually experienced it within 30 days, and usually by the exact same crew.
So, why do they return so quickly? Well, first, they come back to exploit the exact same entry point if you haven't upgraded it. Second, if they clocked a safe for some high-value inventory but ran out of time during the first hit, you better believe they're coming back for it. And third, they are triggered by your own social media. Posting, "We're open!" photos that accidentally prove your camera and alarm systems haven't changed is basically sending them a personalized invitation. But hey, the good news is you can significantly reduce this second hit risk, and you can do it for free. Simply change your opening and closing routines for the next 60 days to totally throw off anyone who might be watching. Add a second, inexpensive light to the rear of your building. And honestly, most importantly, never write a public playbook about your incident or your new security measures online. Keep it strictly off the internet.
If you want an expert to identify your specific vulnerabilities, our source document mentions that Jesse actually offers a completely free 20-minute walkthrough. He'll look at the front and back of your store and just give you a second set of eyes on your defenses. It's totally zero pressure, there's no follow-up spam, just an honest opinion from a guy who has seen the aftermath of hundreds of these incidents.
So I'm going to leave you with this final, incredibly important thought to consider. If your store's alarm rings tonight, are you prepared to step out of the panic and execute this exact checklist? Having the chronological discipline to secure your scene, manage your insurance, and defend against a second strike might literally be the most important business decision you ever make. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and please, stay safe out there.